My name's Bastion. I work at MCK Architects and I've been an architect for 2 years. I went to Newcastle University for the whole 5 years and I took a year off. I went travelling for 4 months and then I came back to Sydney because I'm originally from Sydney and went to work for a small practice called Paul Berkmeyer Architects. There was 4 of us in the office and for the rest of the year I spent working on a small public building in Maitland and a couple of residential projects. From there I went back to uni to do masters. I can definitely see the benefit of going out and working in the workforce because you get a sort of more realistic idea of what it actually is to become an architect and what your role is. It's not so much the conceptual framework of design but the actual realisation of building and construction, I guess. Because I'd worked at Paul Berkmeyer's in my year off, Paul sort of obviously understood what I was capable of, so I went back and worked for them pretty much from 1 week after uni finished. Well, obviously, something that I'd never really been exposed to was the contract administration side of the project of architecture. I mean, we'd touched on it in uni, but it's not actually until you actually have to enforce things and write instructions and look at a progress claim that you understand how it actually fits into your role. So I guess learning time management was a big thing. Getting ready for going to site, and then distilling what you'd seen on site, and then repeating that process, and also responding to requests from the builder when you needed. So it was definitely the contract side it was the huge sort of learning curve. But I also think that it's not necessarily the size of the firm that I was in, but that they understood what I was capable of. I already had a working relationship with everyone in the office, so I was comfortable asking questions, and they were also comfortable having me run the project with supervision, obviously. So I think in a larger firm, there's probably more of a structure in terms of project managers and project architects, whereas this firm there was 2 projects on site that needed a project architect each. And so I just ended up in that role, which I think comes from having a small practice, that if something needs to be done, you quite often get given the opportunity because there's less resourcing available to you. Interestingly enough, I tutor at Sydney Uni, and I have also done at Newcastle Uni when I was at school at uni. And I've always said to anyone who's considering going straight through that they should take the time off. It does add a year to your studies, but I think it makes the next 2 years so much easier because you have a realistic sort of understanding of architecture. You have a bit of working knowledge of construction and detailing. And also when you get into the workforce, you then already have some experience, which for me particularly helped in terms of being able to get registered quite quickly.